Welcome back, everybody, to another breakdown. This is going to be our last game in Builders Workshops, and I'm very excited for you guys to see this game. This is going to be a really good opponent I'm going to play against, and I pretty much just shut him out all game. I have a really great game defensively, and I can't wait to show this game to you guys. I'm going to start off this game with Tombstone. There's all sorts of openings you can run. And in my last video, I talk about kind of openings and how I kind of look at Clash Royale like I like chess. I like to play both of those games. So right here I'm going to start off the game Tombstone and then Wizard in the back. And since this is the first arena that you get Rocket, you're probably going to not want to put cards kind of in the back like that because more players are probably going to be, obviously they're running Rocket instead of Fireball now. So, you could you could definitely put, Wizard or even Barbarians or Musketeer in the back, even Mini P.E.K.K.A. Just to see if they have Rocket. In this case, he throws a rocket down, and I don't really know if I put any other cards in the back for the rest of the game, but it's just kind of something you kind of realize, obviously, you play that, and now you know that they have rocket, and now you can kind of play differently and kind of strategize differently. So that Tombstone's going to be able to defend that mini P.E.K.K.A. He had archers also, and I put some barbarians right on top of the on top of the archers. And then I put a fire spirit down literally just for the reason of him also putting down barbarians. If you put down a fire spirit with your own barbarians, there's a good chance that that fire spirit's going to do that much splash damage. And now your barbarians, because even if they're on his side of the tower or the arena, or the bridge, I should say, now your barbarians have a better chance of kind of taking out his barbarians because they'll be lower. Kind of just evens the odds. And then I also had skeletons from my Tombstone back there, so they're going to healthily take out that knight also. Kind of a weird play on his part. Once again, I'm just going to put down a Tombstone in the middle. It's actually a really good just control card. Control the center, control the tempo, control the game by having your opponent have to go through a Tombstone instead. It's one of the best buildings in the game. So to defend that knight, I put down a wizard right behind him. And then he's going to very cleverly put down a mini P.E.K.K.A. right on top of the wizard. And that's actually perfect placement. If you put that mini P.E.K.K.A., one tile to the left or even kind of like behind that wizard or in front of the wizard, I should say, one of those skeletons is going to get to the mini P.E.K.K.A. first. And then the mini P.E.K.K.A. is going to go after one of the skeletons instead of the wizard. So even though he has a level 6 mini P.E.K.K.A., it actually tanks a hit. Or that wizard actually tanks a hit from the mini P.E.K.K.A. because it's so underleveled. And then those skeletons are going to be able to get it really low and actually take it out completely. So that's also something you should kind of worry about. I'm going to put down a giant. This is actually one of my favorite plays. You put down a giant right in front of a tombstone while the skeletons are coming. And it's kind of like a early arena giant graveyard. Obviously that Princess Tower, it's going to be going after the giant instead of the skeleton. So then you're going to have to put something like that down, a wizard. That was kind of the only card he could have played. And unironically, probably the best card he could have played, a high damage, splash damage card. And then I also put bats right as he puts wizard down. So I kind of wasted bats a little bit. They're going to get taken out by that splash damage. But that giant is going to do some good work on that right tower. I was very close to putting down my rocket, actually. I think the only reason why I didn't put down my rocket is because if I would have thrown it right here, that wizard's going to take out that giant, and then it's just going to keep walking past. But actually, it would have worked because those skeletons kept coming. And then even after we put down those barbarians, I would have been, more hesitant to do that. So that wizard's just going to keep moving. Kind of a slight mistake that I didn't put rocket down. But you definitely don't want to put rocket down and then have to deal with that push with low elixir. But it's nothing that Tombstone can't handle. And then you throw a knight on top of the wizard, so now the wizard can't attack the Tombstone anymore. And a great play overall. Now I'm going to throw down a rocket because he has a knight. This isn't a bad play. If anything, I was just kind of rocket cycling. We have 4 seconds left until double elixir, and I already have almost 10 elixir right now. I'm creeping up on 9. So then I'm going to throw down my rocket on top of his knight, maybe just in hopes of he also puts down something else in front. In this case, he plays a good. He makes a good play by putting archers on the side. You'll definitely see some earlier arena players put down archers or goblins or freaking anything. Mini P.E.K.K.A. as a rocket is coming down, so he's gonna put down. I'm gonna put down barbarians on top of his archers, and then a mini P.E.K.K.A. and level 6 mini P.E.K.K.A. does take out level 7 barbarians, so that's also something you could definitely keep an eye on. I believe either 1 or 2 levels below that they don't take him out in one shot. So to protect my wizard, I'm going to put a knight, and also for my wizard to kind of protect the knight, you can kind of treat a knight like a giant, except it's not a win condition. I'm gonna actually rocket cycle his tower once again. You kind of, if anything, you want to use rockets to kind of just, if their tower is low like that, it only has 1,000 health left. You can definitely use rocket right there to do some chip damage for timing purposes. Also when you have a rocket in the air, they're probably not going to want to put down anything next to the tower. So it's also kind of another control card. You want to use it just to kind of control the board. Right here, he's actually going to put a battle ram to defend my wizard. Definitely not a good play right there. It's going to get taken out almost immediately. I put some barbarians in the back just to kind of build a push right here. I'm going to put a giant on the left side, so now he's going to have to pick what side he wants to play on. He himself puts down barbarians in the back, and that's probably that was not a good play right here, because he kind of waits a little bit. I put down a giant, and then he immediately puts barbarians down in the back. So kind of not the smartest thing. I'm also going to put bats. If you put bats or even skeletons behind a giant, obviously the giant's going to tank for him, so it's a really good push. And so now he has to waste a wizard on the bats because they're just going to do a ton of damage. And then on the right side, it's not any better. 3 barbarians against, I believe, my 4 barbarians and 2 skeletons. And then that wizard is just going to do so much work. They're not even going to be able to take out the rest of those barbarians, even after he puts down archers. We go to overtime, and yeah, it is not good for him. And that is just game. Perfect game in our last game in Barbarian, or Builder's Workshop. Wow. Shout out if you got that.